Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning or whatever time it is, wherever you are around the world. My name is Christina Goswiller. I am the social lead at Digitas, and I'm accompanied today by some of the very brilliant members of my social team. We're really excited to take you through this presentation. What happened? Obviously, a lot has gone on in the last few years, to say the least. But specifically when it comes to social, we've seen an explosion of new behaviors, platforms, communities, et cetera, all of which is translated to, just heightened consumer expectations for brands on social. So today we're going to take you through just a couple of these emerging trends, because as you can imagine, there is an unlimited number. And really these trends implications for brands and marketers when it comes to thinking about their social investment this year and in the years to come. And when we say a new social world, what we really mean by that is, in our minds, social has very much become the epicenter of culture. It informs the style we wear, the music we listen to, how we shop. Just think about, TikTok made me buy it, even the communities that we choose to interact with. And more, I think what that means for us as marketers is we have to think about social as more than just a channel. It really is, for all of us, a masterclass in human behavior. Everything is social these days, and that requires us to approach social in a more connected way, equal parts input and output, and those insights that we can glean from our interactions with our various target audiences on social can really inform and accelerate all aspects of our business. So without further delay, next you're going to hear from the team about each of these emerging trends. And really the kind of overarching theme here is that consumers are more in control of their individual social experience than maybe ever, from exploring mixed realities for both entertainment as well as education, to live shopping and really influencing and informing the kind of e-commerce, social commerce world, to the rise of all of these incredible virtual communities that have allowed us to connect in a time when we couldn't meet IRL. You'll start to see from some of the brands that we've featured as just best-in-class examples, how their investment in social has really kind of taken a hold of everything they're doing from a marketing approach. Their strategies have transformed to really put social at the center of everything they're doing, because they know that that is ultimately a reflection, the truest reflection of their consumer. So I'm going to pass it over to Leah, our first speaker, and let's get started.
Thanks, Christina. Hey, everybody, I'm Leah. I am a social strategist here at Digitas, and I specialize in B2B relations, including thought leadership and community management. So we can go ahead and get started here with exploring mixed realities. Virtual worlds have unlocked new opportunities across users' ecosystems, which has created new experiences that are quickly becoming the norm. Brands who are not already or don't soon invest in augmented reality, virtual reality, or the metaverse are at risk of being left behind. So let's take a look at some AR experiences for virtual product viewings or try-ons. In these examples here, we can see two really personal items that would be difficult to return after using in real life. That makes them risky online purchases. But instead, shoppers are able to see how they would look in these specific shoe or eyelash styles using the 3D AR filters, which reduces the intrinsic risk of the purchase. And for that reason, AR technologies have been found to boost online shopping sales up to 200%. So moving into the next slide here, we've also seen AR usage for product viewing rather than try-ons. Like in these examples, seeing how a new piece of furniture may look inside your home. As you may recall, just a few years ago, AR originally began as a feature to experiment with crazy and fun filters, but brands and consumers quickly saw the value and have shifted into utility. While social platforms like Instagram and Snapchat support these features natively, similar experiences are now becoming available through mobile apps and experiences on the web as well. Now moving into non-fungible tokens, let's dive into NFTs and how they're redefining the way that brands engage with consumers. First off, what are NFTs? In simple terms, they're unique virtual assets that exist on the blockchain. NFTs have become a new way to sell brand status and ownership without any physical production requirements. They can represent real-world items like artwork, real estate, or as we'll see in these next slides, digital clothing and collectibles. Here you can see Gucci's digital-only sneakers. Imagine living in a virtual world and finally being able to own the high-end luxury accessories that you always dreamed of. Now you can. Gucci is just one of many brands that are making your dreams reality by selling their sneakers through the app for $9 to $12. The sneakers can be worn in the virtual world only. Owners of this digital asset can either take photos wearing them using the special AR filters to appear as though they're truly on you, or download the in-game version for their video game avatars to wear. So we've talked about augmented reality. Now let's talk about virtual reality. Coca-Cola, for example, hosted an auction within the metaverse for special edition loot boxes of NFTs. On the left here, you'll see one of the items that was up for auction, a reimagined metaverse version of Coca-Cola's highly collectible 1956 retro vending machine. By creating a secondary virtual version of this collectible, Coca-Cola was able to earn extra revenue and recreate excitement around it. Other NFTs at that auction included various sets of digital apparel that could be worn by avatars on Decentraland, which is a 3D virtual world browser-based game hosted on the Ethereum blockchain. This is a really great example of building off of existing opportunities. Coca-Cola knew that there was already a strong community of collectors, and they used that audience to their advantage here. Not only did it create excitement around the brand, but also strengthened brand loyalty. Now, similar to the Coca-Cola example that we just looked at, there's also many other in real life events transitioning to virtual worlds. So Decentraland also hosted the first Metaverse Fashion Week in March of this year. The event featured over 60 fashion brands and showcased more than 500 looks. The fashion show gave companies the opportunity to make NFT and fashion sales and also test out the new VR technologies. Many prominent brands and stores participated in that event, including Estee Lauder, Bulova, Tommy Hilfiger, and Dolce & Gabbana. While this event was just an initial trial run, fashion is proving to be a key area of business in the metaverse. And lastly, we'll pivot into virtual influencers. Virtual influencers are exactly what they sound like: digital CGI characters who are made to look and sound like real people. On this next slide, you'll see an example. Here we have Lil Miquela. She's an LA-based, forever 19-year-old CGI Instagram influencer. She has 3 million Instagram followers and a large Spotify following as well. She was named one of Time's 25 most influential people on the internet, proving that you no longer need to be human to have a strong influence on a given audience. Brands are lining up to get involved in this new form of influencer marketing because it allows complete control over the image being relayed, and it has no physical limitations. Some of Miquela's most recent influencer collaborations include Ami Paris Fashion, Mood Magazine, and Future Earth Climate Club. In addition to those virtual influencers, we also have real people using avatars of themselves in VR and metaverse brand partnerships. You can see on the left here, Nessa Barrett was featured by Steve Madden in their metaverse collaboration, where she modeled their newest fashion line. Nessa Barrett has 7 million Instagram followers, and she was able to even further increase her presence and income by selling her virtual identity as well. The opportunities are endless when you no longer need to be physically present to attend events or model clothes in specific poses and locations. So what does all of that mean for brands and digital marketing professionals? Consumers are receptive and enthusiastic about mixed realities and the opportunities that come along with them. But it's important to keep in mind that the metaverse doesn't exist in any one place, and you must meet your audience where they're at. Brands who have started to and continue to explore this new virtual turf will be at the top of mind for consumers. Next steps for brands who are looking to get involved can include anything from small stepping stones into the metaverse or creation of NFTs. Questions to ask yourself include, is this experience providing value to my consumer? Think about what your consumer wants and how to satisfy those needs in new and interactive ways, such as AR viewing or try-ons and digital wearables. And you can also ask yourself, is our participation in this world consistent with our brand identity and values? You want to make sure that any metaverse presence or influencer partnerships accurately represent the same brand voice and values that you're portraying in the real world. And I will pass it over to Pollock now.
As virtual and online brand experiences start expanding their definitions, brands can also find innovative ways to evolve that shopper experience. Over the past decade, online shopping has grown consistently, but it really wasn't until we had no choice but to be online did we see like a full adoption of every capability available. And what's grown from that is that there's a seesaw of online convenience, but personalized in-person experiences and what consumers are preferring between the two. And so live shopping provides that ideal solution and mixes the best of both worlds, from providing consumers a seamless e-commerce experience that allows viewers to tune in, to trials, learning from experts, gaining feedback, and even checking out all within a singular experience. And so live shopping creates that unique and personalized experiences where people can kind of walk away with a much clearer understanding of what they're opting into. And it's no surprise that it works so well. Video has been known to convert 3 times more than digital display. And so when you combine that with a live one-on-one experience, we get the results that we do, which are conversion rates near 30%. And that's 10 times over higher than conventional e-commerce. Live people and live interactions combined with a branded experience is an ideal scenario from a shopper perspective. And so live shopping events that are unique to each host provide ample opportunity. Brands can find many ways to show up, from e-commerce, existing retailer platforms, to social, and even curating their own platforms. And the best way to really hone in on a brand-specific goal is through a unique experience that is hosted from a brand platform itself. Brands can build out the exact functionalities that they need to seamlessly integrate within existing channel features, but also have a seamless integration of their overall web experience. So think data collection without involving third parties, additional product discovery abilities, wish lists, and direct lines to purchase. So while this requires investment from the brand itself, the one-stop shop experience can provide high value. So we have Macy's as an example. They've really integrated live shopping into larger pillars and larger brand experience. They feature products and creators to help drive traffic for targeted communities, but they can also curate specific experiences that hone in on values and cause-based initiatives that they really believe in, which this then helps fuel discovery and connection on a deeper lens. And of course, they can help support or even lead tentpole activations for key retail moments. The investment into own platforms allows that full control over the entire shopper experience online, which not only tailors that experience to their audience, but also minimizes brand risks. You can monitor engagement a lot clearly, have more influence over who is opting into your experiences, and of course, have that full control over data collection. Utilizing an own platform does, however, mean there is some reliance on the awareness of the platform itself. And that is often why brands partner with talent to really drive that engagement and reach the communities that they're aiming to. On the other hand, existing platforms like Amazon already have some sort of built-in awareness, and live shopping also retains direct purchase capabilities on these platforms. Amazon itself is known to drive consideration and has a really engaged shopper audience. And video was already valued as product education, as we know with many merchants, including video capabilities or video assets within their listings themselves. So the integration of live really only extends that. Not only can they show product demos, but the customer chat section allows that live Q&A and live feedback. They've curated a library of previous live streams consumers can look back on, allowing flexibility and expansion of that live definition in itself. Amazon also, again, recognizes the values of creators and has incorporated a featured creator list at the side, as you can see, and even a follow feature to help leverage their audience base and get people watching additional live streams from the same creators. These influencers can curate product lists that are able to be linked and are featured on the live. With Amazon's reach and existing positioning within the shopper funnel, it's clear why they've seen success. But when you think about social platforms, however, there's a more connected and holistic approach that brands can really leverage to hone in on that upper funnel. Social, of course, is known to drive connection for all, whether it's between us, our friends, creators, brands we love. And that's why they've expanded on their live capabilities to include these shopping features. Facebook, of course, was one of the first to hop in. Over the years, they've built out several e-commerce products and have made sure that they integrate seamlessly into the live stream. Petco was one of the first to fully lean in. They utilize Facebook shops, collections, and product tagging. And these products allow a brand to customize whether they want to link to their own retail pages or direct line of purchase on platforms like Facebook itself. While influencers and creators are still an integral part of these live streams, the placement of the curated, entertainment-driven content really drives that awareness and visibility, as well as engagement. Because social integration provides a natural opportunity for consumers and just a general audience to want to engage. And so live community management is key when it comes to social and furthers that experience. Petco saw high levels of success across the board, with almost 2 times return on ad spend on their adoptable fashion show, 14% engagement on that live video itself, and most important to me, all the dogs were adopted by the end of that live stream. With Facebook's success, it's not a surprise that Instagram soon followed. And while the capabilities are similar and Facebook and Instagram itself have some integrations that you can leverage, the position each social platform has within a consumer's life and just journey is very different. And so that's important to recognize and will play a crucial role within its success. Instagram is a creator-led platform. And so not only are influencers integral to the strategy, but they're actually the forefront of it. And so much of the live shopping success has come from these natural integrations into the creator's audience. So take Nikita Dragon. As a beauty and fashion influencer, content such as Get Ready With Me is natural. It's part of the daily routine. It is something the creator already knows and is confident their audience is engaging in. And so by integrating Instagram's product tagging and shops feature into the live, she created an organic or at least organic feeling experience that is still ties back to the shopper and product experience. Live Q&A, of course, and engagement within the community management allows that one-on-one connection with consumers as well. So with just a standard piece of content that she may have already been curating without a product tie-in, Nikita was then able to drive over 30,000 product page impressions, and she sold out her product within hours. Pinterest, I consider Pinterest to be kind of like a child of Amazon and Instagram's position within the live shopping space. They're a creator-led platform, of course, but they also double as an inspirational shopping site. And with their recent shift into focusing on more creator-led content, they've launched a series of products, of course, including live shopping capabilities. As you can see, creators are the focus while pushing brand awareness and product visibility through the tagging features. You, of course, have it completely branded with mented cosmetics, but the creator tag is at the forefront of the product as well. And what makes Pinterest really unique is the branding of this as Pinterest TV. Platforms like Instagram have sunsetted the TV idea, but Pinterest is really honing in by nesting the live product within it. These videos are then considered episodes that release on weekdays, but can also become available afterwards for on-demand viewing. So similar to Amazon, kind of allowing more flexibility into what live really means. And as you can see, compared to the other platforms, the products are really taking up most of the screen space and are really at the front and center of the content. And with live shopping centered around it being a live experience, Twitch seems like a natural contender in the social space as it's streamer and live reaction led. But surprisingly, they do not have a live shopping specific experience available, at least as of yet. Streamers do have several e-commerce capabilities such as clickable links, promo codes. They're even able to customize commands to be able to provide additional product information, but there's no store or catalog similar to Facebook or Instagram. Aside from Twitch's own merchandise. However, it is a live streaming led platform and it's owned by Amazon at the end of the day. So this is one that we're definitely keeping our eyes on in the coming years to see how they can grow and provide more unique live shopping abilities. And so this is only the beginning. Globally, live streaming has kicked off a lot earlier than it did in the US, and China saw sales grow over 4 times in the past 3 years due to live streaming. And that's even expected to grow within China. So following global trends, experts are anticipating as much as 20% of all US e-commerce sales to be led by live commerce within the next 4 years. We personally expect shopping capabilities and formats to continue evolving. While creator-led activations don't seem to be going anywhere, in line with general influencer trends, we expect brands to really hone in more onto micro influencer communities and really integrate them within their strategy to target specific audiences, specific targets, and niche communities that they're trying to reach. So what does this mean for you? People at the end of the day are more online than ever. And while shopping trends have oscillated between online and in-person, live shopping connects the pros of both types of experiences, and so should be at the front of our minds. The space in the US continues to expand with different options and formats available. And so it's really important to evaluate like what's right for you and your brand. Take TikTok, for example. We know they've dominated social, and users even report purchasing products through the app 1.7 times more than other platforms. But as of earlier this month, TikTok is actually pulling back on its US and UK shopping capabilities and expansions through live. They're citing struggles with adoption with not only consumers, but also influencers opting in. And this can be for a variety of reasons, whether it's just the nature of the TikTok content that creators are already putting out or the intricacies within the For You page. But whatever it is, it's really important that we take a critical look at where and how we're placing what type of content to be able to get the most out of these capabilities. So as we all learn, marketers, platforms, brands alike, testing and research is going to be essential. Who is our audience and where are they showing up? Specifically, where do they like to shop, whether it's in the awareness stage, discovery stage, or consideration, and what type of content is at the core of that platform? Because all these platforms have different audiences and different reasons people like to engage. So a one content strategy is not going to fit if we want to show up on multiple platforms. And then beyond that, when it comes to purchasing decisions, how can we gain credibility, especially as we start testing out and have our first experiences on these capabilities? Are there creators that our consumers are turning to, experts in the category? We know that influencers and creators are at the center of the strategy across platforms. So who exactly can we lean on to really showcase our brand experience? And then lastly, how can community management support experiences from start to finish? Building a strong CM practice can increase the value and amplify the experience from a consumer's end from start to finish. What consumers are coming to these experiences for can evolve with a solid CM strategy that can start before the event begins and end even long after the event ends. And this CM strategy can really start building community through a commerce-led initiative, which is what makes this so unique.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm a social strategist here at Digitas, and I work mostly within the retail space. So as we've seen with live stream shopping and other experiences such as AR lenses, ways that online commerce is evolving is becoming more and more tied to consumer connection. So whether that's establishing authenticity with live stream experiences where people can purchase from their favorite influencers, or even ways where the purchase journey is engaging and seamless, it all leads back to connection. And brands, they're expanding their offerings into different platforms. It's important for them to understand this core need that we all have. And people want to be a part of something. You know, there's book clubs, Facebook groups, kickball leagues, and people naturally want to find their niche. They want to find their tribe or people with similar interests who they can create authentic relationships with naturally and comfortably. So as the virtual space is growing, places like Discord, Reddit, VR chat rooms, and Horizon are becoming platforms for these niche communities, and brands will need to understand how they can integrate in without feeling out of place and out of touch. So as we can see, virtual communities are growing past what we would call the more traditional social channels. We see it with the AR lenses mentioned earlier and all of this metaverse talk, which has been all of the rage recently. And different platforms have started to dabble in this new way forward. Some platforms are even trying to be pioneers in this space. So take Meta, for example, along with updating their name from Facebook to Meta, the company created Horizon Worlds in Oculus. And here users can put their VR headsets on, go to their virtual workplaces to collaborate on projects, hang out with their teams, and interact in a way that sometimes seems more physical than virtual. Another reason why the metaverse and this virtual space has become so cool and there's so much excitement around it is because the virtual world truly has no physical boundaries. So while Web 2 originally opened up cross-world communication, the metaverse allows you to connect from anywhere with people with your same interests and also experience otherworldly opportunities together. So for example, Roblox users gathered to watch Lil Nas X perform over 2 days, and this concert obtained 33 million views. And just as a quick note for those who haven't heard of Roblox, Roblox is not actually a game. It's a platform where people play games made by other developers and users. So as you can see, there are ways that gaming platforms are changing, and depending on the platform, they're becoming more like social. And as we've seen brands work their way into social media through influencer collabs, shoppable content, and you name it, brands are finding ways to be relevant within games. So for example, Pandora used the Animal Crossing platform to share a new jewelry line. And quickly, again, for those unfamiliar, Animal Crossing is a social simulation video game series by Nintendo where users can create and explore their own environments. But now back to the example, they created a factory on an island within the game that even matched the real life facility. And this collab featured many rooms with music and art, and users could dance with others through their avatars, interact by taking selfies, and more. And another cool example is the Gucci Garden. So also on Roblox, this brand hosted a virtual exhibition to celebrate their 100th anniversary. The exhibition had rooms that let visitors tour through them, and they were each designed as a previous Gucci fashion collection. So users could collect virtual items and watch their avatars change based on which rooms they were in. And this exhibit was also based off of the real life Gucci Garden and was a really cool example of how virtual and real life can be used together to create an overall exciting brand experience. So as we can see with those examples, there are some really cool ways that brands can interact with the VR and the IRL worlds. And these brands are smart because they're showing up on platforms and within the communities where their target audiences are. And so speaking of audiences, let's look at Gen Z. And they've grown up with the internet, social media, and they're early adopters of new tech. So in order to reach them, you need to examine their behaviors and learn where and why they consume. So as a generation that prides themselves on unique interests, strong values, innovative thinking, Gen Z enjoys finding people who have similar interests and enjoy interacting with them within platforms where they're always using. So for example, a platform that focuses on niche interest groups is Discord. And Discord is a platform where people can talk over voice, video, and text with their friends and like-minded communities. So chats can even be private, and users can create communities called servers where you need to be invited or added into in order to participate. So along with joining groups to engage with conversations of interest, people also enjoy feeling exclusively a part of something. Private groups and exclusive access is appealing to consumers who enjoy feeling like they've earned their way into a group in a sense. An example of a brand using this to strengthen loyalty with their customers and deepen their insights about them was Peloton. And they created an official Peloton member page where about 41% of consumers believe brands should create private groups like this. And lastly, Reddit is another example of a platform that engages users into niche conversations. Reddit is a social news forum where content is curated and promoted by site members through voting. And Reddit is actually in the process of going public. Reddit members pretty much have control over the content in their feeds, and the platform seems to influence other outside factors as well. So one of the forums, Wall Street Bets, actually caused a large rally of shares of GameStop that created the category known as meme stocks. And while Reddit going public shows the success of the platform, but all of the success, loyal users are really hoping that the core of the platform will stay the same. So with all of that said, we can look at this core human behavior of wanting to belong, and of people making an effort to connect with their interests and with people who share similar values and likes. And brands do have the ability to engage with users on platforms like Discord, Reddit, Roblox, and more. And brands just need to be careful and learn when their presence makes sense within the platforms and authentically resonates with these consumers in those spaces. We can continue to look at brands like Pandora, Gucci, and others that are paving the way for these really cool experiences that connects us as the physical consumers to a more virtual world. And with that, I will pass it over to Stephanie.
Thank you, Sophia and team. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Keys, a social strategist at Digitas, specializing in retail and commerce. All right, let's talk about what's to come. In the near term, we will continue to see brands making shifts to incorporate augmented reality and virtual reality into their marketing practices. More brands will engage their audience in the metaverse, while some will create or enhance virtual communities. As social media platforms evolve their commerce capabilities, more and more brands will enhance their end-to-end commerce journeys by incorporating live stream shopping, as well as streamlined shopping experiences on their social channels. As we look ahead into the future, we can expect three things. More brands will enter the metaverse over time. Companies will embrace virtual technology and create engaging experiences for their customers to sell products. And users will adapt to take virtual chat platforms and extend the conversation around brands with a strong presence on platforms such as Reddit and Discord. So, what does this mean for you? In order for brands to stay relevant, they will need to create and maintain virtual presence to meet the growing demand for virtual experiences by customers. To close, we want to reinforce that social isn't a channel, it's a behavior. In order to be successful, brands will need to reimagine the role of social within their organizations by, first, listening to what their consumers want. What are the types of experiences they crave? How do they want to be engaged? Companies can glean a lot of insights from social listening and on what their audience wants. Next, by connecting content and commerce, brands will keep the consumer engaged, offer elevated consumer experiences, and inspire greater conversation. Lastly, social can and should inform larger marketing transformation and behaviors. Signals from social can inform a more cohesive brand strategy by informing how a brand is viewed by the people who ultimately drive your business and offer great insights. Its reach and influence should be embraced. That concludes our presentation for today. Thank you so much for joining. We hope that you enjoyed it. I'm now going to turn it back to Christina for some Q&A.
Great, thank you everyone. The Q&A is open. You should see a little functionality at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to drop in any questions you may have. We'll kind of popcorn around and answer them as they come in. It looks like we have one question so far, specifically around NFTs. And I'll start off with my perspective and then pass it over to Leah to add a little bit more context too. But this question says, do you think NFTs will continue to grow despite the recent crypto world crash? Yeah, I think it is definitely a tricky kind of landscape, right? We've been monitoring it closely with our brands, definitely testing and experimenting as with anything else. And watching the news closely with everything that's been going on in the crypto world. I think we can continue to kind of monitor and make decisions accordingly. I know there are brands who are maybe pulling back at the moment, but that's not to say that things could change as they always do within the next month and so on. So I don't think that NFTs are going away and going away for brands specifically, but as with everything, things are quickly changing and evolving, and we'll have to just kind of keep an eye out. Leah, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that. Otherwise, we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like you said, as with anything, things come in waves, whether that be up or down. But back to Sophia's point earlier, people really want a place where they feel like they're surrounded by others that are like-minded. And I think in the examples we went through of brands utilizing NFTs, those are more so in like virtual worlds and games. And in the real world, we all want to look and feel our best. And it's the same in any virtual world for your avatar. And so that's how we really see that affecting brands in the NFT world.
Great, thank you. Cool, we've got another question here. So specifically for B2B, how do you see brands in that space leveraging some of these emerging technologies? Leah, I know you are our resident B2B expert here. Do you want to take that question?
Yeah, I think it depends on the company. Like I briefly mentioned, for some companies, it may not make sense to be entering the virtual world and the metaverse at this time. But you want to think about where your audience exists. And if you have an audience that is interested in a certain topic that you can tap into, for example, in, virtual influencers, if that's something that they follow, or in gaming, if you have people who are interested in how Coca-Cola utilized the collectibles. So you need to think about it in that sense. But as far as B2B specifically, I mean, audiences can include other businesses, and those other businesses may have certain things that they're interested in. So think about the sustainability world, for example. You can leverage that in the metaverse by having a sustainable or environmental topic and tap into that audience that already exists, but bringing your company into it in that way.
Great. And yeah, I'll just add too, I think especially thinking about some of these virtual communities, within the B2B space, whether, we're talking small business owners or enterprise, people are looking for resources, answers to network, right, and learn from other businesses. So I think leveraging some of these online communities for those purposes within B2B could be particularly valuable, and is something that to this point is really untapped, I think, within that community. So certainly something to think about. Next question we've got here is, for brands who are thinking about entering the AR VR space, are there any kind of specific reasons why you might not want to experiment with that technology? Are there examples even of maybe industries where that type of technology might not make sense? I am going to kind of take a stab at this, and then I'll hand it over to the team. But, I think first and foremost, like we've been talking about, you really have to understand your consumer first to know what are the right opportunities, what are the right platforms, formats, et cetera. So if, your target audience is not already kind of engaging with that technology, it might not be a worthwhile investment just yet for your brand. I think that's kind of the short answer. But anybody on the team have another POV on that question specifically that they want to add?
I can add a short bit to that real quick. Like Christina said, it depends on whether or not your audience is on that platform, but think about the people on that platform and what they're interested in. So there may be an audience that you don't yet consider yours, but let's say they're animal lovers and you work in an animal related business, you can tap into that. But if you're like a soup company and people don't know the brand of your soup, then maybe that's not the place to be tapping in, because no one's going to know who you are or be interested in your product.
Yeah, kind of building off of that, in that really taking a hard look at your community. Everything at this stage is a test and learn with these new technologies kind of emerging. So in terms of whether you should be fully entering or not, it's good to start at like a small scale, see what your audience is recepting to, and then grow. There may be some brands or industries where it makes sense to hone in on one larger activation for the entire year versus another brand like we went through who show up consistently over time, from a more daily perspective. So I think there's different mediums and different cadences on which these can be exploited.
Great, thanks, Pollock. A little bit of a different question, but we've got a question in the chat here about being a strategist, right? And the work we're doing as social strategists. I think, for those who are aspiring social strategists, any tips or kind of suggestions from this team when it comes to how you guys have had success and kind of, even today, like these trends that we've pointed out that you've become experts in, like what has been your kind of secret to really understanding some of these emerging trends? Steph, I might go to you first if you feel good about that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is really listening, understanding how consumers are behaving. A lot of what we were talking about is trends into like how our behaviors for shopping have been different as a result of the pandemic, as a result of working from home. Just essentially doing a lot of research and really like getting into the space where our target audiences are, listening to how they're reacting to cultural movements, what their conversations are across social, and then really wearing all of their hats is really what it comes down to.
Great. Anybody else want to add to that? All right, cool. Well, it looks like we have exhausted the list of questions here from our attendees. If there's anything else, I think if you can flip to the next slide, You can always reach out to us. We're here to answer any questions, be a resource to our larger community online, like we've been talking about today. And again, thank you so much for joining. We very much appreciate your attendance and your time. And we really hope that this was informative and useful and a bit inspiring as well. So thank you all so much.